up. If you look at the crank pulley, it's wobbling all over the place. That's because somebody beat on it with a hammer when they were reinstalling it. You can tell, I mean, we got a strip nut here on this mount. And the nut that's actually holding it into the crank looks like it's pretty stripped out too. So that's something that needs to be addressed now that we're actually looking at it running underneath the car. Alright, so what we're doing is, if you look, I did have the video showing the severely moving around crank dampener pulley. So this thing's bent from somebody beating on it here. You can see they were hitting on this, I'm assuming with a hammer or something. So they have the outer pulley off center. So what we're doing right now is we're actually working on replacing that. Now, here's another problem. We're going to come down here. Sliding under the car, by the way. Alright, now, see if we can get the camera in here. Alright, now, up in here, on the back side of the alternator, there's a bolt that goes through there to adjust your tension on your belt. Well, for some reason, somebody felt it was necessary to take that bolt the whole way out and not put it back in. So you can't release the nut that holds the alternator in place. So now we need to replace that because that's missing. So here is what we need, and the correct nut that actually holds the alternator on. So I mean, that's on the top side. The bottom one looks like it might be the correct nut holding it in. So now we got to fight with that so that we can get the belt off, then we can get the crank dampener off. But that's what we're working on here today. Alright, so we have the lower crank pulley off. I used a 3-jaw gear puller and caught in here to catch that, and I leave the bolt in, and you actually push on the center of the bolt, but you be careful when you bring this out because you can get it close and then you wiggle it. Like I said, you can see someone was whacking this at the top here and here, which actually is what thrown this sucker off of balance. And yeah, you can see like right in here, when you hit that, it separates the rubber there and pushes it back. Anytime you get any kind of damage to these, you always want to replace them. Also, now we had a timing issue that we wanted to kind of check out. So we did rotate the engine around twice. Somebody did already trim the timing cover here so you can see through, because I believe someone was trying to get the stuff timed in at one time before. But you can see here's our arrow, there's the other arrow up in. And when you come up top, this is what we're looking at here for. Try to get the camera in here a little nicer for you. This LED light doesn't do justice. Hopefully you can see it here. Oh, hold that for me, sir, would you? Kill. Right there, that's a little better. Okay, so right down here, hopefully you can see the white lines down here. This cam is up. That one, the exhaust is down. They're not even lined up here. Now this is adjusted out a little bit, but it's actually retarded on this one and retarded on this one. So I'm trying to figure this out. I'm looking at this, and no matter how I try to figure this out in my head, it's wrong. Because if I bring this one up to here to 0, all that's going to do, I mean, this is going to stay in the same place, but all it's going to do is then advance my cam out more than what it's retarded. And the same with this. When you do this, you know, if these cam gears, you want to zero these things out before you set them up on here. And these cams that are in here, some of them come already 4 and 5 degrees advanced. So you don't, you know what I mean? You're already taking out what the cam's giving you, which I think is probably giving this thing some of the idle issues that it's having, and possibly some of the rich idles, along with the fact that it does have larger injectors. But this is definitely something that needs to be taken care of also. So basically, all in all, something wasn't assembled correctly, and I don't know if someone tried to make an adjustment with them and they're just off now, or if they were on at one time where they assembled them and they were off, and instead of taking it off and putting it back correctly, they just tried to adjust it out in the cams. So these lower dampener pulleys, they're all the same for regular Neon, the PT Cruiser 2.4 NAs. This is just a cheap one we picked up from our local hardware or local parts store, not hardware store. I keep thinking radio and twist connectors that you'd use in your house, but you know, here we go. We got this new crank pulley. We're gonna install this thing, and like I said, that one had some serious vibrations. So we're gonna get this thing installed the correct way. I gotta pull this bolt and stuff off. I'm gonna stick a little bit of grease on the back of this. It does help them go on a little easier, and when you do need to pull them off. So we'll show you what this thing looks like spinning when it's together.